Okay, so decreased hip mobility in a lot of our patients is a big problem that keeps them being able to progress with a lot of their exercises. Now, we've taught you in some past videos some hip mobility that's a little more aggressive, but what if you're just getting started with hip mobility? If you look at some of the hip mobility exercises out there on YouTube, it could be a little bit discouraging to think I'll never have that kind of hip mobility. And a lot of people just naturally don't have a lot of hip mobility, but even for you people, there are some things that you can do as kind of beginner hip mobility exercises, and I want to show you some of them today, 4 of them. So the first thing that you can do is a lot of times where people lack hip mobility is just coming into flexion, and you can do that by just finding a box or a series of boxes where you can go ahead and just squat down, and let's say that first step that you try isn't too much where you're not pinching in your hips and just going up and down in that position. And then you could go progressively lower, right? So keep lowering the boxes down, do 10 reps and then hold it and see if you can't get further into hip flexion by lowering the box down and going up and down 10 reps. So that's the first way, is just use a gradually lowering boxes to do squats. Second one is find a little bit higher box, or for you at home, this could just be a chair where you would put your leg up on a chair like this, and then you can kind of just do a squat like this. And so since you're using your leg here, you can really kind of control the mobility of going into that hip flexion by going up and down with your leg up on a box. So give that one a try. The next one, the third one I want to show you, this is kind of a variety of the hip 90-90 stretch that we show a lot of people. So a lot of times we get people into this position, and ideally you'd be able to sit up like this, but when you have lack of hip mobility, you have to lay back all the way because you just don't have the mobility to sit up and flip your legs back and forth. So as a beginner stretch for that hip 90-90 stretch, what we'll have people do is just lie down on your back, and then just gradually, while you keep one leg up, let the other leg fall in, right? And it's just gentle back and forth. Doing like 10 on each side, and you'll feel that external rotation of the hip as that leg goes in. All right, so that's a beginner stretch into that range of motion. And then the last one is just doing a standing, what we call hip articulation, where this one requires some balance. If you don't have balance, you can hang on to something too, but it's just to lift your leg up, out to the side, and then come back down. And just repeat that. Hip articulations on both sides. If you want to make it a little more challenging, you can even set up a box in front of you and think, I want to make sure I lift my leg up over the box and then set it back down behind the box, like that. So if you're someone who maybe you've been told by your physical therapist that you have poor hip mobility and you want to start getting some more hip mobility, and you've tried some exercises, they seem to be really hard and pinchy, give these a try. These are great beginner hip mobility exercises that you can do at home and see if you can make progress, and then you can go into the more advanced ones later on. Let us know if you have any questions. We'd be happy to help.